Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So tonight we are here to discuss the much anticipated Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collab called the Vault Collection. So if that's something you're interested in watching, then you are in the right place. We are about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
So before we get into the review of the Vault Collection, I do want to let you guys know that I have decided to do a giveaway. One of my subscribers out there is going to receive the entire Vault Collection. So stay tuned to the end of this video and I'll give you guys all the details. So, the Vault. Oh my goodness. This launch had a lot of controversy around it. So initially, Jaclyn Hill decided to launch the Vault. When she first did the announcement, everybody was a little disappointed that it wasn't Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. Jaclyn Hill has been stating for years, it seems like, that she's coming out with her own cosmetics line. So everyone naturally assumed that's what this was going to be. However, it ended up being another collab with Morphe. Now, I personally wasn't that upset about it because the Jaclyn Hill palette is one of my favorite palettes. I love the palette. I find the formula to be above and beyond the standard Morphe formula. It's one of my favorite palettes. I use it all the time. So I was excited at the idea that she had additional shadows that were the same formula that she was going to release. And then she released it and it went downhill from there. Initially, she did a small PR release where she sent PR out to a lot of influencers who started doing reviews online. In addition to that, she did a meet and greet down in Vegas and she gave a limited number of the Vault out to people that showed up to the meet and greet. So there were Vault palettes trickling out into the population and the feedback coming back was not that great. The feedback that was coming back was that they were dry, patchy, a lot of them lacked pigment and payoff, and there was some kickback in the pan, whereas others were really dry. So according to Jaclyn Hill, she called the owner of Morphe. The two of them got together and decided to pull the collection and postpone the launch. Now, that's the official story. There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there floating around, one of them being that Becca and Morphe got into a lawsuit over the packaging. Now, this part of the story actually is verifiable with things that are a matter of public record. You can see that the lawsuit was filed over the trademark of the champagne pop logo that was used on a lot of the components and packaging when Jaclyn Hill worked with Becca. So that lawsuit was rolling around the same time that the collection was pulled, and a lot of people were theorizing that that was the whole reason that the collection got put on hold until the legal matter was settled, and then she re-released it, and that kind of covered up the tracks of all the bad reviews that she was getting. And maybe now, you know, it's that placebo effect. People think it's been improved, so a lot of people are going to say, oh wow, it's so much better, when really it's the same exact thing. So that's one of the conspiracy theories floating around out there. Another one is that it was the formula, and the formula was just all messed up, that it had to be something that was completely reformulated, but the turnaround time seemed to be awfully quick for something that was a formula issue. I personally reached out to Jaclyn and asked her if it was a formula issue or if it was just a matter of a pressing issue, because Jaclyn came out and made a statement and said that the actual issue with the Vault Collection was that some of the shadows were pressed incorrectly and that it didn't have anything to do with the formula itself, which was really something that I cared about because I wanted to make sure that this was the Jaclyn Hill formula, the same formula that was in her palette. So I wanted clarification on that, and I simply asked her if this was a matter of the formula being screwed up or if this was truly just a pressing issue. Her response was it was just a pressing issue. Now, I will say this, when it comes to manufacturing of palettes and eyeshadow, pressing and pounds of pressure per square inch on those little eyeshadow pans can really have a big effect on payoff. It really can impact how a shadow is going to perform based on how hard or how soft it's been pressed into that eyeshadow pan. If it's pressed too hard, you won't get any payoff. It will end up being very dry. If it's pressed too light or there wasn't enough pressure, you can end up with a big mess and it won't even blend on the eye. It'll just completely just brush right off your face. The pounds per square inch has to be dialed exactly based on the particular formulas that are in individual pans. It's a very specific exact science. And so something just being off by just a millimeter or a slight, 0.00% of a pound pressure, it can cause a huge problem. So I could understand that, and I took her at her word that that was genuinely the only issue. So that brings us to the launch and receiving the package in the mail. So let's go over that. This is the package itself. This is how it comes. You don't get the safe, which I was a little disappointed in. I would love to have had a big safe, but whatever. So it comes in a box like this. I'll show it to you guys up close just so that you can see. It's got the pretty confetti in the middle. It has on the back a picture of Jaclyn and a little blurb from her, and of course she has signed it at the bottom, and that is what the package itself looks like. Now, the blurb on the back is important, so I'll read it to you. It says, when developing the Jaclyn Hill palette, I created so many different eyeshadows in my search for the perfect palette. Narrowing it down to just 35 colors was nearly impossible. There were way too many gorgeous shades to eliminate any of them. That's why I'm so excited to finally show you guys the other shades that were in the vault. Same beautiful formula, remember that, and pigmentation, but all different colors. It's like my palette had babies. I hope you guys love this collection as much as I do love Jaclyn. So that was basically her statement on the back of the box. And of course, she has said it multiple times. It's the same formula. So one of the things that caught my eye when I first received the box is that the ingredients was covered up by a sticker. And I initially thought, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So this is how it originally came before I ripped the sticker off. So you can see the sticker was right here with the list of ingredients on it. And I thought it was kind of funny that that sticker was there. And of course, you guys know me, the first thing I did was to peel it off. And it reveals, obviously, another set of ingredients there. So the question becomes, if it was strictly just an issue with pressing, then why the sticker if there was never a formula change? Okay, so before we all go crazy over this sticker, let's think about the logical reasons that they could have needed to cover up a set of ingredients with a sticker with a new set of ingredients. Sometimes factories do misspell words, and they do it on accident, and a cheap fix for that, especially after having pulled an entire collection, would be just to slap a sticker over it with the correct spelling for the correct ingredients. So first thing I did was to check for spelling errors, and there weren't any. So the second thing would be if maybe they screwed up and put a different formula on there that shouldn't have been there. So I dived in to find what this was, the original formula on the box. What formula is this? Is it just a screwed up formula that they just messed up and they needed to correct it? Or does this formula actually match another product? Like, is it a bronzer formula that they accidentally put on the side of the Vault collection? So I dug in to try and find a formula that matched the initial formula that was put on the box. Lo and behold, what do you guys think I found that matched? It was the Jaclyn Hill palette. So the original Jaclyn Hill palette ingredients list is the ingredients list that's on the side of this box, which would make sense. So why the sticker? Well, there are a couple of big differences in this formula and the Jaclyn Hill formula. So, number one, that's disappointing. Number 2, the first ingredient on the Vault and in the Jaclyn Hill initial formula is talc. Talc is the first ingredient, mica is the second. On the sticker, mica is the first ingredient and talc is the second. That's a pretty big difference when it comes to an eyeshadow formula. So the Vault collection is a different formula. In addition to that, on the Jaclyn Hill palette, the ingredient magnesium stearate is under the may contain area of ingredients. And that's because magnesium stearate is just a filler. It's a dry filler, but it's just a filler. So it's good when you see that under the may contain or lower down on the totem pole. That means the eyeshadow isn't made up of mostly just filler. You know what I'm saying? However, on the sticker, magnesium stearate is the fourth ingredient. On the Jaclyn Hill palette, the third ingredient is kaolin, and that's a mineral clay that you actually find out in the world, and it helps to mattify eyeshadows and absorb excess oils. It's actually a really nice, kind of expensive ingredient. So that was in the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's actually the 11th ingredient on the sticker version of ingredients, where it's the third ingredient on the Jaclyn Hill palette. So once I read that and I knew that, okay, it's not the same ingredient, I was really sad because they billed it as the same ingredient. And obviously at some point they intended it to be the same ingredients because they printed it on the freaking box. But somewhere along the line, something changed and they had to put a sticker over the Jaclyn Hill palette ingredients and make a new sticker for the ingredients for the Vault, because obviously these two things are not the same. So what does that mean? Well, it may mean nothing. It may still mean that these eyeshadows are still really good. For right now, it just means that it's not the same formula as the Jaclyn Hill palette. But with what we just found out about the NYX foundation, nothing these guys pull surprises me anymore. All right, so let's dive into the Vault and see what we got. So when you first actually open the box itself that it comes in, it actually comes in this really nice kind of bookshelf type container. It feels really nice. It has this little ribbon here so you can easily pull out the palettes just by pulling this ribbon. It makes them all come out. I'll show you guys up close what this actually looks like, but it's really nice. I love that on the binder you can read what each individual palette is so that anytime you're reaching for it, you know what palette is what. So I love that the names are on the binder. And of course, you know, it's just pretty. The aesthetic of this is pretty. This will look pretty sitting on somebody's vanity. It's just an eye-pleasing type component. So I like the component itself. Now, this retails for $48, and that is if you buy the entire Vault collection at once. You pay $48. Now, you can buy these individually. You can buy them individually at Morphe and individually at Ulta for $15 a piece. Now, if you were to buy all 4 of these, you would pay $60 plus tax. So you're saving about 10 bucks if you buy them all together as a set. Now, the Vault has officially sold out as the set for the $49 on the Morphe site. When they restock, they'll let everybody know. But of course, I got my hands on one for you guys, so we definitely secured one for our giveaway. So the swatches are going to take a while to go through, guys. So the first thing I actually wanted to show you guys was application, and I actually used this set for what I have on my eyes tonight, and I'll show you guys that application here. Now, one thing that I really did like, guys, is that these are very buildable. When you go with just light layers, they build up beautifully. The colors that I used were mostly out of the Ring the Alarm palette, and this is a palette that is a lot of reds and oranges and browns, and I personally loved the way that these colors blended. I loved the performance on the eye. I thought that they all did a really good job from a performance perspective. They all blended well. They didn't just muddy up and turn into a big mess. I did reach for a couple of colors out of the Armed and Gorgeous palette, some of the yellow and bright oranges that I actually put on my lid came from that particular palette, and those are all mattes, and they all performed beautifully. Mattes are very tricky, which is why a lot of palettes choose oftentimes to go with shimmer shades, because they're just easier to do. So when you have a good matte, or you've perfected a good matte formula, that's really a good thing. And I really feel like the mattes that I've had the opportunity to play with and try out of this palette have performed really, really well. And again, the palette that I have mostly used is that palette that has those red oranges and the blue, or the red oranges and the browns, and that's the Ring the Alarm palette, and it really does look beautiful. But I got a beautiful gradient. I was able to do exactly what I wanted to do with these shadows. I did have a mess and then have to go into a different direction. They did exactly what I wanted them to do, even on the lower lash line. I really think the colors look pretty. They still pop on the eye. There's a lot of longevity to the formula. They don't just fade away throughout the course of the day. I've worn them with primer, I've worn them without primer, and they really have good staying power on the eye. Now, obviously, I haven't had a chance to wear every single color out of every single palette, but with the colors that I've played with, guys, I've been really satisfied with them. I didn't have a problem blending them. I didn't have a problem with them being patchy. I didn't have a problem with them not showing up. And I've dipped into some, I mean, look at this yellow that I have on my eye going on right here. This kind of light to dark gradient that I have. I mean, this color has stayed true to color all day long. And that is a pretty vibrant, like yellow oranges color. And the light color that I used in the inner 1/3 of the eye has stayed light all day long. And even up here where it kind of fades up to a gradient towards the top has stayed there. It really hasn't faded. So for me, regardless of the ingredients, it's a good performing eyeshadow. So I'm happy so far with the shadows that I've tried. Now, does that mean that somewhere in these palettes there might be a shade or two that doesn't perform well? It's possible, because I haven't had a chance to play with them all yet. But I will definitely keep you guys updated. And if you want to see maybe a look for each individual palette, that would definitely be something I would be willing to do for you guys. Just let me know in the comments down below. But for this particular review, I just want to go palette by palette and let you guys look at the swatches so that you guys can determine if you want to purchase one or all of these palettes. And then, because we have determined that these are different formula, I do want to take some similar colors out of the Vault and put them up against some swatches from the Jaclyn Hill palette and see if we can see if there's any major differences. But first, let's go through these palettes one by one and just see how they swatch. Alright guys, so we have a lot of palettes to get through. We're going to start with Ring the Alarm, one of my favorite palettes, of course, because it's warm tone. Beautiful colors in here. I love the oranges, the on-camera color, the lolly color. I think they're beautiful. They swatch beautiful. I do really like this particular palette. I will say, looking at the palette and then looking at the swatches, it does seem like a different palette from a swatch perspective, but look at that on camera shade there. It's just gorgeous. That boom color, which is that pink. Yeah, this is a really pretty palette and one of my favorites. Next, we have Dark Magic. This is a very interesting palette. It does have a lot of dark colors in it. One of my favorite shadows out of the entire collection is in this particular palette. This also has the black out of the entire collection. The Temptress color is the black color. But look at how this palette swatches. It's so interesting. That dark forest green trickery that has my nail carved in the middle of the swatch. Yeah, and then of course the black. Look at that silver. That silver is power cut. I love that silver. This also has one of the only light matte colors in the collection, which is Poof, which is that light matte color there. I love that. And Shh is the name of that brown kind of taupey color in the middle. That's another one of my favorite mattes. But yeah, All right, so next is Armed and Gorgeous, and this palette is very unique as well. This also has a couple of my favorite shadows in it. It has one in here that is just stunning gold. Stunning, stunning gold. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That silver in there is called VIP. That is a stunning shimmer shade. Those golds are just beautiful on the eye, you guys. They really, really pop. There's a couple of those orange colors there. There's a brown, and then there's Classified, which is almost like just a topper. But overall, this palette is beautiful. The green in this one performs much better than the green in the Dark Magic palette. And yeah, I like the layout of this particular one. Those golds and that silver are absolutely stunning. They're very, very unique. All right, so Bling Boss. This is the one that's like purpley, kind of cool toned colors in it. There are a couple of really pretty ones in here. Berry Treasure, which is the one on the lower right hand corner, is such a unique color. It's this black with like a purple kind of sparkly shift to it. It's stunning. You have Bling Bling, which is one of the really pretty pink shimmers right there. And then Glitz and Glam, also gorgeous. That purple, which is called Gem, is stunning. And there's Berry Treasure on the end. Such a unique, beautiful, pretty, sparkly color. But overall, this is a very unique palette. It has a lot of unique color in it. Hush Hush is one of my favorite mattes. It's that taupey color there. Beautiful matte transition color for the eye. It is quite stunning, but I do love these purples. I think they really are super, super pretty. And Berry Treasure, again, is one of my favorites. So overall, beautiful collections. I love the way that she's grouped them all together. I think that they all look beautiful. It is quite a beautiful collection. And honestly, there are a couple of things I feel like are missing from the collection. I have found myself looking for like a really light matte, and this is really the lightest one that's in the collection, and it's only in one of the palettes. So I would have liked to have seen some more lighter colors in here. So there are a couple of things that I would have changed or maybe done a little differently, but overall it's a pretty inclusive collection, including the black that's in here. It's a very beautiful black. It has these little kind of micro shimmer spheres in it that look really pretty on the eye. I actually use it to line my eyelashes with. It's really good to tight line with, to really get in here and kind of fill in your lashes with it, to make your lashes look a little thicker. It's beautiful for that. Overall, I really like the color layout, and I think they look really, really pretty. So next I'm going to go through and I'm going to swatch all of the Jaclyn Hill shades out of the Jaclyn Hill palette that I can find a similar shade to in the vault. What I want you to be able to determine through this process is that if you own the Jaclyn Hill palette, do you need the vault? Are there enough shadows in here that aren't duplicated in the Jaclyn Hill palette to make it worth your expense? So I figured we would run that little experiment, and I'll give you my final thoughts when we're done. So here we go. All right, guys, so we're gonna start with Bling Boss and see if we can find some matches. These pinks, I think we're gonna be able to find some matches for. We're gonna definitely try these purples up against each other. Actually, let's move this so you can see the purple, that purple there. We're gonna try those, and then, yeah, and as I try these ones that look similar to each other, you can tell there's differences in tone, but for the most part, there are some really similar colors. These purples are so similar. But yeah, the mattes are different in tone. The shimmers are a little bit similar, but the purple, that purple color is pretty, I mean, one is like a deeper, just slightly, but I mean, for the most part, yeah. And we've got on the left, on all of these, the left will be the vault and the right will be the Jaclyn Hill palette. All right, so next we're going to go into the Dark Magic palette. And I know that those dark greens and, of course, the black, I think the brown will be able to find some duplicates for, but I think that's going to be it. Not the cream, because the cream and the Jaclyn Hill palettes are both shimmers. So, and the cream in the Vault is a matte. But we'll get these on here and see how they look. So again, the Jaclyn Hill swatch will be on the right and the Vault will be on the left. And yeah, now these pretty spot on, except for the shimmer. The shimmers are different in tones, but the mattes were pretty spot on. All right, next we're going to go into Ring the Alarm. And in Ring the Alarm, just looking at it, I initially thought, wow, we're going to be able to find a lot of dupes. But truthfully, they really are different in tones. So it wasn't as many as I thought, because just by looking at it, you think, oh, wow, all of these colors are duped, but not really. These really were the only ones that I could find that were similar, and it's that orangey brown, the duochrome that has the pink to peach shift, and then that kind of burgundy and that kind of brown. That was really it. All right, guys, so next we're going to go in here, and this is another one I could only find two. I could find this brown out of the Armed and Gorgeous, and yep, that brown right there, and those look pretty identical. I mean, those are pretty spot on. And then the yellow. There's a yellow in the Vault and a yellow in the Jaclyn Hill, and I think that these could possibly be the same as well. They don't swatch very good, neither one of them do, but they do build up pretty on the eye. But yeah, those two are pretty spot on. So I'm not really sure if these two are like the same one. So it's this one and Access. They look pretty similar. But other than that, the dark oranges and stuff, you can't really find a dupe for, just those two colors. So overall, here's the Vault up against the Jaclyn Hill palette. And if you'll notice, the Jaclyn Hill palette is sectioned. So like this section here looks very much like the Armed and Gorgeous palette. The lower section there is very similar to Bling Boss. The lower section over here is very similar to Dark Magic. This section over here is very similar to Ring the Alarm. So it's almost like a different Jaclyn Hill palette that's just off a little bit in tone. Like you can see here, there's a lot of similarities. So that was a little eye-opening. I honestly didn't think that I was going to be able to replicate any colors from the Jaclyn Hill palette in the Vault collection, because she stated that these were all colors that weren't chosen for the Jaclyn Hill palette. But some of them are actually quite similar, but not a whole lot. I mean, for the most part, there's not exact duplicates in the Vault collection. So overall, if you have the Jaclyn Hill palette, I don't think I would necessarily get the entire Vault collection. If you have the Jaclyn Hill palette, what I would do is I would look at the Vault collection and I would look at what palettes you think speak to you, and I would personally purchase these on an individual basis. So overall, I think I really like this collection, you guys. There were a couple of shades in here that I think were a little dry. There's one in particular that stands out to me, and I think it was in the Armed and Gorgeous palette. And it's this color right here called Classified. For whatever reason, it's very dry and it just doesn't want to show up very well. But overall, that's like really the only dud that I would call, like, I wish they would just rip that pan out, throw it away, and put something else in its place. My second dislike would probably be that green. That's in the Dark Magic palette, and it's that green that's called Potion. I feel like this color needs some work. It's a little patchy and the pigment's just not quite there. So for me, those are the two duds I feel feel like out of this entire collection that I wish would just be replaced. But I can say that there are some really special eyeshadows in this collection. I still can't get over that Buried Treasure shade. There's another shade in here that looks almost like a dupe for Trophy Wife. There's an Icy Silver in here that's absolutely stunning. There's a duochrome in here that the shift is genuinely unbelievable. There really are some innovative shadows in this Vault collection that are really standouts to me, and I really like them. They inspire me, and overall I feel like this collection was a win. The shadows blended out perfect on me with the ones that I have used. I've enjoyed playing with this collection. Whether or not the formula is the Jaclyn Hill palette formula, I think it would have meant a little bit more to me that issue with this sticker had happened if the Vault collection ended up being a fail. Then I think I would have been angry and I would have wanted to know why we didn't just stick with the initial formula. But whatever this formula is, it's not a bad formula. They perform well. The longevity is there. The blendability is there. I love being able to build up bright, beautiful colors in nice thin layers and have everything blend out to a beautiful gradient. These colors have stayed really bright over the course of the entire day. And even when I just go for some of the more muted colors in here and just go for a more natural look, even those stay on all day long. And that's not all the time the case with different eyeshadows, especially if you're not using like a primer underneath your eyeshadows. And these do that. They stay on your eye. So overall, it's a good quality. I love the fact that they're broken up into $15 palettes, so they didn't just launch it and say you have to buy the $50 compilation. They broke it down into $15 palettes, so based on your collection at home and the holes that you guys feel like you have in your collection, you can plug those holes with one of these palettes. So if you feel like you already have a lot of warm colors at home, then get the cool color palette, get the purple palette, or the one that has a lot of the greens in it. Or if you feel like you already have a lot of cool colors at home, or if you just bought the Norvina palette, you don't want another purple palette, then get one of the green ones or one of the warm tone ones. It's definitely customizable based on your current inventory, and I like that because it doesn't make everybody feel pressured like they have to have the entire collection and they got to drop 50 bucks on it. So I can appreciate the fact that it's individualized like that, and you guys can really pick the palettes that speak to you. So overall, I feel like the Vault collection is going to be Erika approved, and yeah, I think I like it, you guys. All right, so let's get to the part that you have all been waiting for. We are going to give away the entire Vault collection to a subscriber. Yay! So one of you guys are going to win the entire Vault collection, and you guys know the drill. There are 3 ways that you can enter the contest. The first way is you have to be a subscriber. The second way is that you have to like this video. And the third thing you need to do in order to be entered is to put down in the comments a way that you want me to get in touch with you in the event that you are the winner. Now, a lot of people have issue with that if they don't want to put their Gmail address down there or your Instagram tag down there in the comments. You don't have to do that. You can just send me a DM on Instagram and give me your contact information, and that's the way I'll reach out to you in the event that you are the winner. If you just want to put a comment down in the comment section and say, hey, just reply back to my comment down here if I'm the winner, that's totally okay too. I just need a way to reach out to you in the event that you are the winner. So make sure that you include that in your comment below. All right, guys, so again, make sure you do all 3 things, and that will assure you that you are entered in to win the Vault collection. Now, I will be doing the drawing for the Vault collection at the end of this month, so you have between now and the end of August to enter to win the Vault collection. Make sure that you're following my Instagram at ErikaApproved. I will put updates on there, let you guys know when the last last day to enter is. I'll make the announcement of the live stream that I'm going to do on YouTube in order to announce the winner to you guys. You know, we always do that via live stream, and I have so much fun when we do it on live stream, so make sure that you guys are there. I'm sure we will have lots of videos between now and then, so I'll keep you updated on this channel about when we're going to do the live stream and the time that the announcement's going to take place, so that you guys can all plan to be there for the live stream. I would absolutely love that. So, yeah, that's it. Exciting stuff. Somebody's going to win the entire vault collection. I love that for us. All right, guys, well, I think that is it. If you're new here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. If you want to be part of the approved crew, make sure that you turn your notifications on so that you never miss a video. And as always, make sure that you guys are following me on Instagram so that you can keep up with my posts and my IGTV reviews that I do. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope everybody is very happy and very healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video.